Yep. Nope. We're live.
Oh, okay. Hey, when I tap my microphone, can you hear the mic?
I didn't. No.
What about that?
No, I'm
Okay,
not
I'll
hearing
message
it.
the mic later. In any case, okay, we're live. Yeah,
Yay.
so in any case, we should probably schedule a time next tomorrow at which I can go live. But we are right here
Right.
with the monument, and I've been covering down here now for the past 7-8 hours, and currently we're having our Toby Keith concert. Monument directly off camera, and we're looking at a crowd tomorrow that's going to be about the size of Obama in 2012 or 2013 rather.
Really, you're looking for that many people?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's getting kind of hectic because of all the protesters. Because at 8 a.m. tomorrow we have the anarchist protest, and then at 8:30 there's 420 protesters. Obviously, one of those are going to be much more aggressive than the other.
Sure.
So likely the anarchists are probably going to get shut down because they have reportedly their idea is to disrupt, not necessarily the protest. So I think that's a gray area at which they're going to run into issues. That's the motorcade going right now. It looks like our president-elect is starting to make way out here again shortly. Okay, so now, do you guys have any questions? I mean, I know we probably could have gotten this up on the feed earlier and gotten some questions from a chat, but it's probably just us right now.
Yeah, it's just us right now. So of course you got to get me on the fly. I'm just kind of curious. Like, you just got there this morning, correct?
We got here yesterday.
Yesterday. So what's the tone been like? Are people excited? Right now, are people nervous? You know.
So there's two different groups that I talked to today. We have Trump supporters, of which there are a great many. I have never seen this many Trump supporters before. And by and large, they're very friendly. They're very friendly. I have yet to have any issues with credentials around my neck, which of course is somewhat of a target when you do have a presidential candidate who snipes at the media quite a bit.
Sure.
But by and large, they've been very respectful. It's been very peaceful. And there's quite a few Trump protesters here from pretty much every shade. You can really see just about everything out here. And in terms of the opposite side, I went down real close to the White House today and did some interviews in front of the White House. And over there was a huge contingent of people doing non-ironic thanks Obamas, where they were really out there with signs with all sorts of stuff, genuinely thanking the outgoing administration for what they've been doing.
Well, I mean, President Obama has a pretty high outgoing
approval, like 57%
approval rating right now. So,
like,
and I know that Trump's, what is Trump's is something like it's the lowest ever
40s.
for incoming president ever, around 40%. So I'm just curious how this is all going to fare coming tomorrow. What's your attitude about tomorrow? Are you excited? Are you concerned?
I'm a little concerned about the anarchist protests.
Sure.
I don't want those to get out of hand. Right now, we got press releases from the press office that show us about 5 different protests that actually have permits to protest, because you do need a permit to protest in the district. That said, we're likely going to see a lot of protests that don't have permits. That's probably going to happen. And I think that's where it's going to get a little bit dicey. But again, from what we've seen today, it looks pretty peaceful. It looks okay. I think we're going to see more people in D.C. on Saturday than Friday.
Okay.
There are going to be more people here for the Women's March than I think there are going to be for Trump's inauguration.
Yeah, there was a big stink about the fact that I know that the Boy Scouts are going to be there of America tomorrow, but also the Girl Scouts are going to be there. And there was a big upheaval about that because they don't really feel that this administration is going to support women the way that they want us to. So has there been any mention of, at this point, some of the, I don't know, some of the negativity that you're feeling in the air from this candidate that is now becoming our next president, 44th president. Is it 44th?
45th. 45th.
45th. Okay.
Yeah. There's negativity certainly from women, certainly from the people who are here for the Women's March. The Women's March is going to be a really big deal. Like I said, I think we're going to see more people at the Women's March than we're going to actually see at the inauguration. Local papers here are calling it Washington's smallest party tomorrow. One of the inaugural balls was canceled because they couldn't fill it. So we're looking at a historically small inauguration, but still about the turnout of like Obama's second. So we're looking at just under 1 million people. Adversely, you're looking at probably almost 2 million people.
Are you looking at that? Now, are these all supporters, or are these a mixture of both?
A mixture of supporters and protesters. But again, the protesters, it's the traditional anti-Trump rhetoric, right? You know, they feel he's unfit for office. They're worried about his demeanor and the way he treats women, and his previous scandals, and his dealings with Trump University, his conflicts of interest, his lack of experience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's all stuff that is become, you know, a calling card for that movement, but not necessarily when you look at the supporters on the opposite side. The supporters on the opposite side are here, and they're really excited. They're around them. They're 10 feet without hitting a vendor that's selling Trump flags, Trump t-shirts, Trump pins. The flags are ridiculous. They're like 15 feet long. And they have his face plastered on them. They're the ugliest things ever. And yeah, I mean, earlier today we were down at the Washington Monument, which again is behind me right now, and talked to a bunch of people down there. A lot of people from foreign press. Foreign press are obviously a little bit more apprehensive of the incoming administration, particularly in regard to his immigration policy and his foreign policy, or lack of foreign policy.
You're cutting out there a little bit, Brett, but we'll get you back in just a second. Looks like you just got a little bit of a hang up there. The one thing is I want to know what you're doing to protect yourself, to make sure that you stay safe tomorrow and this weekend, because that's a big concern for us. We want to make sure that you're going to be all right. And yeah, don't put your face in where it doesn't belong so you don't get hurt.
Right. Yeah, I am being very safe. Again, your press credentials are typically, you show them as needed. You don't necessarily need to be flashing them all the time. You don't want to be doing that, because some people don't really want to talk to the press. We talked to a couple people out here where they see the press credentials, they don't really want to talk to you, they start moving away from you, and you just have to read that body language. By and large, I'm not too worried about my safety, because we do have 2,000 additional Marines here from the National Guard. We also have the entirety of the city's police department, and of course the Secret Service, of which there were so many today around the White House. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely.
So I think they're going to be able to keep it very peaceful. I think the protesters, I think the anarchists will get out of hand, but if they get out of hand, they'll just shut down very quickly, I think.
Well, you've got the military there too, and if something really gets out of hand, you can call in the National Guard and those types of things, and kind of just do a military shutdown, which I hope doesn't happen. I hope that moving forward as a nation, regardless of who you voted for, that we do try to tackle this one thing at a time, and to try to deal with things one thing at a time. I mean, there are some people that would say, the protesting is ridiculous and stuff like that. But I kind of look at it this way in a different view, and you can give me your opinion on this. But, when we're stagnant for so long, there's no change. And regardless if you like what's coming or you don't like what's coming, it's always good to have an opinion. And sometimes, you kind of need to stir up the pot a little bit. The one good thing that I have to say about Donald Trump, oh God, I might die in my sleep tonight. But the one good thing that I do have to say is there's always something good that comes from something bad. And regardless, I feel that something from this is going to come good. And whether that's, a change in the way we do things. For example, I know there's a lot of states right now drafting legislation so that from this point forward, no presidential candidate can be a presidential candidate unless they start showing their taxes and they completely release their financials. And so it's little things that you don't realize that Trump didn't do anything wrong. He just used the loopholes. And now we're seeing the loopholes. And so guess what? We can fix it.
Yeah, and that's actually something Trump has campaigned on in the past, was I use these loopholes because I'm not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And to Trump's credit, if you do have loopholes available to you as a businessman, typically it's in your best interest to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So to his credit, he did use them.
Perhaps a lot of people do that every year on their taxes. They go, oh, well, I have, 2 kids. I could use that as a write-off. That's a loophole from having to pay too many taxes. So just regardless of what your loophole is, type of a thing. It just, his happens to be on a pretty darn big scale.
Yeah, it is a pretty giant scale. And I think if you want to look at the good in it, he ideally wants to close those loopholes.
Yeah.
Those are loopholes that he acknowledges that he has used as loopholes, and he wants to see improvement from. So ideally, we could see him closing some of those loopholes in the future.
Well, or and I think them closed because people are like, we can't put up with this kind of stuff. So
right. Yeah, I mean, again, he was very open about that while he was campaigning. Was that this was something that I have used as loopholes in the past, that this is my business dealings, that when I become president, I am going to close these loopholes, that these loopholes are no longer going to be relevant. So who knows if that's actually going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's getting a little dark there. What we will do is we'll schedule some times, and we will release those on our Blazing Caribou site and our new Facebook page that we put out, and try to get them out on Twitter for tomorrow. If there's a couple of times that you would like to go live tomorrow, just let me know. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, let's schedule some times to go live tomorrow. And as long as someone is on the control room in the opposite end, whether it's you, something like that, that can bring me live and broadcast, then we can get that out on the feeds. And again, if anyone has any questions, either in the chat room, on the Blazing Caribou social networking, that's something you can reach out to us about, and I will do my best to respond from here on the ground.
Absolutely.
And then again, later tomorrow evening, I'll be back in the newsroom, and we'll have more of a formal panel sit down to crank out a podcast.
Okay. Well, it sounds good, Brett. You take care of yourself, and we will go live tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it. My name's
Not a problem.
Everybody signing off. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.